Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama. Rama Rama Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Govindam Adipurusham Tamaham Bhajami. Govindam Adipurusham Tamaham Bhajami. Govindam Adipurusham Tamaham Bhajami. Enam Kanvandam Maravindadalaya Taksham Bhagavatam Samasitam Buddha Sundarangam Nandar Bhagom Vigamaniya Vishesha Shobham. Govindam Adipurusham Tamaham Bhajami. Govindam Adipurusham Tamaham Bhajami. Govindam Adipurusham Tamaham Bhajami. Angani Asa Sakalen Priya Priti Manti Lasyan Dipan Dikayanti Tiram Naganti Ananda Chinmaya Sadhu Jala Vigrahasya Govindam Adipurusham Tamaham Bhajami. 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 Govindam
जय गौर निताय कृष्ण बलराम ललिता विशाखा जय राधे श्याम गौर निताय। प्रभुपाद 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 जय जय प्रभुपाद। श्री गुरु चरण पद्मा केवल भक्ति सद्मा। श्री गुरु बंधु मोए सावधान मते बंधु मोए बंधु मोए सावधान मते जहर प्रसाद वाय एवत रे जाय जहर कृष्ण प्राप्ते आया जहा होइते कृष्ण प्राप्ते कृष्ण प्राप्ते आय जहा होइते पद्म वाक्का चित्ते करियायका गुरुमुख आरणकारे अमने आशा श्री गुरु चरण रते ऐसे उत्तम गते। श्री गुरु चरण जय प्रसादे पुरे सर्व आशा जय प्रसादे जय प्रसादे पुरे सर्व आशा जय प्रसादे चक्षुदान दिलो जे जन्मे जन्मे प्रभु से प्रभुपाद দিব্য জ্ঞান হৃদে প্রকাশিত দিব্য জ্ঞান দিব্য জ্ঞান হৃদে প্রকাশিত দিব্য জ্ঞান প্রেম ভক্তি যাহা হইতে অবিদ্যাবি নাশ যাতে প্রেম ভক্তি প্রেম ভক্তি যাহা হইতে অবিদ্যাবি নাশ যাতে প্রেম বেদ গায় যাহার চরিত শ্রী গুরু করুণা সিন্ধু অধম জনার বন্ধু শ্রী গুরু লোকনাথ লোকের জীবন লোকনাথ লোকের জীবন আহ প্রভু কর দয়া দেবরে পদ চায়া প্রভু আহা প্রভু কর দয়া দেহ মুরে পদ চায়া আহা প্রভু কর দয়া দেহ মুরে পদ চায়া আহা প্রভু কর দয়া দেহ মুরে পদ চায়া এবে যশ গো শুক্রেব বনা শিল প্রভু পাদ পতে তো পাবনা জয় প্রভু পাদ প্রভু পাদ প্রভু পাদ শিল প্রভু পাদ জয় জয় প্রভুপাদ 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 श्रील प्रभुपाद गुरु पूजा के नमः विष्णु पदाय कृष्ण पृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्ति वेदांत स्वामी नित्य नामिने नमः नमस्ते सरस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी प्रश्चतुर्देशतारिणे नमस्ते কৃষ্ণ চৈতন্য প্রভু নিত্যানন্দ শ্রী অদ্বৈত গদাধর শ্রীবাসাদি গৌরভক্ত বৃন্দ শ্রী কৃষ্ণ নিতাই গৌর হরি বল। জয় শ্রী কৃষ্ণ চৈতন্য প্রভু নিত্যানন্দ শ্রী অদ্বৈত গদাধর শ্রীবাসাদি গৌরভক্ত বৃন্দ শ্রী কৃষ্ণ চৈতন্য প্রভু নিত্যানন্দ শ্রী অদ্বৈত গদাধর শ্রীবাসাদি গৌরভক্ত বৃন্দ ভক্ত বৃন্দ নিতাই গৌর ভক্ত বৃন্দ ভজ গৌরাঙ্গ কহ গৌরাঙ্গ লহ গৌরাঙ্গের নাম রে ভজ গৌরাঙ্গ ভজ গৌরাঙ্গ কহ গৌরাঙ্গ লহ গৌরাঙ্গের নাম রে ভজ গৌরাঙ্গ যে জনা গৌরাঙ্গ ভজে সে হয় আমার প্রাণ রে যে জনা যে জনা গৌরাঙ্গ ভজে সে হয় আমার প্রাণ রে যে জনা ভজ গৌরাঙ্গ কহ গৌরাঙ্গ লো গৌরাঙ্গের নাম রে ভজ গৌর যে জানা গৌরাঙ্গ ভজে সে আমার প্রাণ রে ভজ গৌরাঙ্গ কহ গৌরাঙ্গ লহ গৌরাঙ্গের নাম রে ভজ গৌর যে জানা গৌরাঙ্গ ভজে সে আমার প্রাণ রে যে জানা গৌরাঙ্গ জয় গৌরনিতায় 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 জয় গৌরনিতায় জয় কৃষ্ণ বলরাম জয় বৃন্দাবন ধাম। জয় রাধা শ্যাম সুন্দর রাধা শ্যাম সুন্দর রাধে। জয় ললিতা বিশাখা জয় রাধে শ্যাম ললিতা বিশাখা জয় রাধে শ্যাম। প্রভুপাদ 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 প্রভুপাদ। জয় জয় প্রভুপাদ 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 প্রভুপাদ। হরে কৃষ্ণ হরে কৃষ্ণ 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 হরে 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 রাম হরে রাম 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 হরে 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 কৃষ্ণ। হরে রাম হরে রাম হরে কৃষ্ণ হরে কৃষ্ণ 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 হরে 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 রাম হরে রাম 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 হরে হরে। Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Rama Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare Hare
Krishna Krishna Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama,
छोड़ दीजिए चलिए
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare. Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare.
Jaya Kunja Bihari. Jaya Radha Madhava. Jaya Kunja Bihari. Gopi Janavalabha. Jaya Girivaradhari. Jaya Girivaradhari. Jaya Yashodanandana. Jaya Braja Janaranjana. Jaya Braja Janaranjana. Jaya Jamuna Tiravanachari. Jaya Kunja Bihari. Jaya Radha Madhava. Jaya Kunja Bihari. Jai Gopi Janavalabha. Jaya Girivaradhari. Jaya Girivaradhari. Yashodanandana. Jaya Braja Janaranjana. Jaya Braja Janaranjana. Jaya Jamuna Tiravanachari. Jaya Kunja Bihari. Jaya Radha Madhava. Jaya Kunja Bihari. Jaya Gopi Janavalabha. Jaya Jaya Giri Varadhari. Jai Gauranitai, 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 Jaya Gauranitai. Lalita Vishaka Jaya Radhesham, Lalita Vishaka Jaya Radhesham. Jai Radha Shama Sundaradha Shama Sundaradhi. Prabhupada, 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 Jai Srila Prabhupada. Nitai Gaur Haribo, 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 Nitai Gaur Haribo. Vishnupad Paramahansa Parivrajacharya Stotra Satashi Madhavangri Saisi Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai Nitlir Vishnu Vishnupad Paramahansa Parivrajacharya Stotra Satashi Srimati Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur Maharaj Ki Jai Grantaraj Srimad Bhagavatam Ki Jai Nitai Gaur Premanandi Hari Hari Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Narayanam Namaskritya Narang Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswating Vyasam Tojaye Mudirayet Nasta Preshu Bhadreshu Nityang Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavat Uttama Shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naishtaki So reading Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 10, Chapter 9, Text number 3. Why such a long verse? How are we going to do this here? I think we're just gonna maybe let's do it together. Kshomang Vasa Prityukati Tate Vibrati Sutra Nadham Putra Sneha Snuta Kucha Yugang Jata Kampang Chasu Subaru Rajvakarsha Srama Bhuja Chalat Kankanao Kundalecha Svinam Vaktrang Kabara Vigalan Malati Nirmamanta. If you don't mind, we'll just go to word, or you can try to do this. Huh? Okay. Koshang Vasa Prityu Katitate Vibrati Sutra Nadhang Putra Sneha Snuta Kucha Yugang Jata Kampang Cha Subru Rajvakarsha Shramam Bhuja Chalat Kankshano Kandalecha Svinang Vaktrang Kabara Vagalan Malati Nirmamanta. We'll let the Swami do it. Shomam, saffron and yellow mixed. Vasa, Mother Yashoda, was wearing such a sari. Ritukatitate, surrounding her large hips. Bibrati, shaking. Sutranadham, bound with the belt. Putra sneha snuta, because of intense love for her child, became wet with milk. Kucha yugam, the nipples of her breasts. Jata kampamcha, as they were very nicely moving and quivering. Subru, who had very beautiful eyebrows. Raju akarsha, by pulling on the rope of the churning rod. Shrama, because of the labor. Bhuja, on whose hands. Chalat kankanao, the two bangles were moving. Kundale, the two earrings. Cha, also. Svenam, her hair was black, like a cloud. So perspiration was dripping like rain. Vaktram, throughout her face. Kabara vigalatmati malati, and malati flowers were dropping from her hair. Nirmamanta, thus Mother Yashoda was churning the butter. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace, Abhay Charanaravinda Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada ki. Dressed in a saffron yellow sari with a belt tied about her full hips, Mother Yashoda pulled on the churning rope, laboring considerably, her bangles and earrings moving and vibrating, and her whole body shaking. Because of her intense love for her child, her breasts were wet with milk. Her face, with its very beautiful eyebrows, was wet with perspiration, and malati flowers were falling from her hair. Responsively, dressed in a saffron yellow sari. Okay, we got to envision it too, because it's part of the purport. So, dressed in a saffron yellow sari, with a belt tied around her full hips, Mother Yashoda pulled on the churning rope, laboring considerably. Her bangles and earrings moving and vibrating, and her whole body shaking. Because of her intense love for her child, her breasts were wet with milk. Her face, with its very beautiful eyebrows, was wet with perspiration, and malati flowers were falling from her hair. Srila Prabhupada's purport: anyone who desires to be Krishna conscious in motherly affection or parental affection should contemplate the bodily features of Mother Yashoda. It is not that one should desire to become like Yashoda, for this is Mayavad. Either in parental affection or conjugal love, friendship or servitorship, in any way we must follow in the footsteps of the inhabitants of Vrindavan, not try to become like them. Therefore, this description is provided here. Advanced devotees must cherish this description, always thinking of Mother Yashoda's features, how she was dressed, how she was working and perspiring, how beautifully the flowers were arranged in her hair, and so on. One should take advantage of the full description provided here by thinking of Mother Yashoda in thinking of Mother Yashoda in maternal affection for Krishna. Om Jnana Timarandasya Gyananjana Shalakaya Chakshurun Militam Jena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha Namaom Vishnupadaya Krishna Prestaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti-Vedanta Swaminiti Namane Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pacharane Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschacham Deshatarane Srimad Bhagavatam Ki Mother Yashoda binding Lord Krishna Ki. So you see how personal. You can imagine Shukadev Goswami narrating and describing who was so fortunate to be here yesterday. Mother Devi Shakti elaborately described in detail, but according to Bhagavatam, because when I was trying to read a little bit of the chapter, I could see she has a photographic memory because she mentioned almost every aspect of the very fine, intricate relationship of Mother Yashoda with Krishna. So there are many different relationships, 5 in particular: being a servant of the Lord, being a friend, awe and veneration, but being a friend. Then fraternity, parent, and madhurya, out of love. So Krishna and his pure devotees, it's not that it's something different. The Mother Yashoda is an expansion of Krishna. And we're all little expansions, but there's a Nitya Siddha pure devotees who are eternally engaged in loving pastime with the Supreme Lord in the spiritual kingdom. I'm not going to go into great detail because obviously spiritual life is very deep. Krishna is very intricate in everything he does. If you examine our own bodies, all the details, all the muscles, the bones, the eyes, the ears, the nose, it's such very intellectually and very graphically manufactured, all the different forms of life. In these pastimes, especially to the 10th canto, it took 9 cantos to be able to come to this point of trying to understand a little bit of the loving relationship of Mother Yashoda has for Krishna. Because generally, the Mayavadi, impersonalist, speculative philosophers want to create some of their own ideas. Every Muni has a new approach, a new philosophy. But this science, Krishna spoke to Lord Krishna, to Arjuna, Bhagavad-Gita. He spoke as Vyasadeva to Shukadev Goswami, as Kapila-dev to Mother Devahuti. So many incarnations of the Lord. He's speaking the same philosophy, the intimate relationship of the living entity who's been covered by Maya, by illusion, by the external energy. And the external energy is a manifestation of Krishna. You would think that, well, why does our Father want to cover our intelligence? It's our choice, our unique individuality that we want to, how you say, have a relationship in the form of mother with child, or maybe we have veneration for some great personality, or want to become a friend of somebody. Somebody's very proud if he's a friend of Mr. Modi or our yogi, you know, the people in high positions or very famous personalities. One feels proud that, oh, I know so-and-so, he's my neighbor, we're friends. So these relationships which exist in this world are reflections of the spiritual relationships in the spiritual kingdom. And the more, by the mercy of our spiritual master, Srila Prabhupada, whenever writing Nectar of Devotion or any literatures, I started reading the fourth canto. And first of all, Prabhupada wanted to thank profusely his spiritual master, Om Vishnupad Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Goswami Maharaj, for inspiring and for directing him and guiding him in this pursuit of repeating the words of the great acharyas. A bona fide spiritual master is someone who just relishes hearing the words of Krishna, hearing the words of Bhagavad-Gita, hearing the words of Bhagavatam as it's coming. So we can see how Krishna, like an ordinary child, exhibited his naughty behavior. He was, in one sense, playing with Mother Yashoda in a very loving way. Even though we may not understand how can the Supreme God run around and hold the tail of calves and go steal butter from the houses of neighbors and do other things which may seem like an ordinary childish activities, because Krishna is a supreme person. He's exhibiting the ultimate loving relationship between a mother and a son or daughter. In many instances, if a child is in danger, the parent is willing to give up their lives for the protection of the child, isn't it? Take me, but save my child. So Mother Yashoda, in the same way, was always thinking of Krishna, that he's not in danger, he's not hurt by the different activities that he's performing. He doesn't hurt himself by eating dirt. Let me see Krishna. And we're hearing, now we're so fortunate, not only are we in Vrindavan, not only do we have the perfect spiritual master, Srila Prabhupada, enlightening and giving us like when you're by a window, you can see inside what are the activities, what's going on. If you're just outside the brick building, you may speculate inside is this and that, but you have no clear vision. But by the mercy of the Guru Parampara and Srila Prabhupada, he's putting us in front of the window of the spiritual kingdom and seeing here how Krishna is teasing and playing and loving Mother Yashoda. And we see even depicted on our walls, and our wonderful Vasudeva Krishna is but painting everything very nicely, because in this world things may appear to deteriorate. Everything is temporary in this world. So all our prestigious good birth, our multitude of crores of rupees we may accumulate due to our witty intelligence, that, you know, I have a good family, I have a good opportunity to really enjoy in this world. This is the focal point of materialistic life, is how to squeeze out the most enjoyment out of this material world in the form of economic development and sense gratification. Although that's maybe said thousands of times throughout the books, that we should approach devotional service with no ulterior motive, not for a desire for sense gratification, or, you know, let me make the offering so I can get the nice maha. Although, who was that Madhavendra Puri was thinking that, let me taste that condensed, that kheer, so I can also make an offering to my Lord, but he felt guilty and bad that, that was not even offered yet. And so he was conscientious that this is not the mentality of enjoying. And Prabhupada tells the story of Srila Bhaktisiddhanta as a small child of 4 or 5 years old. He took one mango and ate it, and Bhaktivinoda Thakur said, "Oh, you should not have done that. That was for offering for the Lord." But even though he was a small child, no harm, still, throughout his life, he would not take mango. He said, "I am an offender. I've offended the Lord in this way." So, you see, Mother Yashoda, according to the writing here, that she was very much involved in her activities for pleasing Krishna. She was boiling that special milk. We heard about the special grass and the special cows. And Mother Yashoda was preparing everything for the pleasure of Krishna. The milk was boiling over. She put Krishna down for his pleasure, but Krishna got angry, isn't it? And he performed his pastime of breaking the butter pots and distributing the remnants to the monkeys. And then, in fear of Mother Yashoda, it's not that the pure devotee is greater, it's the love of the pure devotee that captures Krishna. Isn't it? Patrang pushpang palang toyang yome bhaktya prayachati. So we may have great understanding. Maybe we can recite the entire Bhagavad-Gita, Brahma Samhita, like flowing Ganges, like the wind, and we have, good mental retention and are very much studied in all the intricacies of the Vedic literatures, which is good. It's important, but that very unique ingredient element of bhakti, and it's not something you could just turn the bhakti switch on. There's a process. When one is sick, he goes to a doctor, receives medicine and diet. You can't do this. You cannot, you have this disease, you cannot eat these food stuff. So in this way, this sadhana bhakti, which is, it may seem, well, it's very elementary, very beginning stages. I'm out of kindergarten. I don't need to go through the basic routine. But it's so pleasurable to read Nectar of Instruction. It's so pleasurable to read the basic rules and regulations, get it, so that we can try to let it penetrate beyond our covering of false ego. We all have false ego. Otherwise, we wouldn't be in this world. We all have identification with the body, my family, my country, these are my countrymen, this is my nation. It goes in different levels. But Krishna is the father of everyone. He's loving everyone, especially the devotees. When Sudama went to visit Krishna and Rukmini both were bathing the feet of Brahmana. Here's a poor Brahmin, and everyone was astonished. How is it that the Supreme Lord, just remembering the loving exchanges with Sudama, he was crying. So it's not that Krishna forgets or is not appreciative of the devotee's love. In Sudama, he didn't ask. Krishna understood everything. So Krishna is in our heart. He understands what is the problem. We may not understand fully, but we should have faith that Krishna is in our heart, and he knows what's going on with our desires and ego, because we desire to enjoy in this world. He gave us a body. He's given us one body after another, unlimited bodies, many, many different forms. And he trains us how to enjoy in each and every body. So Krishna's teaching us in Bhagavad-Gita, yang vapi smaram bhavam tyajatyante kalevaram, that this life is a preparation for the time of death. Because death, everything is washed clean, isn't it? Doesn't matter how much money you have in the bank, or what kind of kingdom you are ruling, or what kind of family you come from, or your so-called accomplishments. Everything is finished. with death. Krishna comes in the form of death. But positively, we can, I say, quit the material existence by engaging ourselves in this very lifetime in the spiritual activities. That if we do, like Mother Yashoda was doing, like Bhuvaneshwar Prabhu was cooking every day, the Raj Bhoga, and then he'd invite his friends, you please take some Raj Bhoga. How you like it? It's okay? Oh, it's very good. Not my fault. Radharani cooked it. Not, so it takes time to appreciate and realize that. I even told someone that we had one devotee, Partha Sarthi, in Miami. He wouldn't let anybody do the pots. That was his service. He took great happiness in washing the pots himself. So no service is too low or too high. Don't think that, because I'm the pujari dressing the deities and fanning the deities, I'm better than that person who's cleaning the floor of the temple. To come to that realization that my activities are meant for the pleasure of Krishna. And a devotee, as he, even young devotee, he understands that what does the Lord want? He wants to all his conditioned souls to come back home, back to the spiritual kingdom. So he came in a special hidden incarnation. Lord Chaitanya, Krishna Varnam Trisha Krishnam Sango Pangastra Parshadam Jagnai Sankirtam Prayaya Janti Hi Samedasaha. And when we read not only Srimad Bhagavatam but Chaitanya Charitamrita, the loving exchange that Lord Chaitanya, Krishna himself, had with his mother, his brother, his pure devotees, Advaita Acharya, Lord Nityananda, Mother Sachi. It's a replica of the spiritual activities going on in the spiritual kingdom. So if we want to become part of that family, the spiritual family, Krishna's family, then we have to take shelter of Srila Prabhupada. Because the pure devotee, the spiritual master, he's helping, or it's essential to link with the Supreme Lord. You may think, well, I could just take Bhagavad-Gita and read it. What's the use of spiritual master? Because spiritual master is an incarnation of God. Actually, the Paramatma, the Lord in the heart, manifests himself as a pure devotee. And a real spiritual master is one who simply repeats the words of Krishna and who shows how to get out of the cycle of birth and death. It's not that, oh yeah, he's been around for 50 years, he's got a nice beard, and he wears a nice lungi. He should be okay. He's a spiritual master. Isn't it? With that verse that by Chaitanya, Kiba Vipra Kiba Nashi Shudra Keneno Ye Krishna Tata Veta Say Guru Hoy. Even if you're a so-called low-born, Haridas Thakur, they consider was low-born, but he was the highest acharya. Namacharya, Ramananda Roy was not considered coming from a Brahminical high family. So these are not the qualifications for being Krishna's pure devotee, that you're born in a Brahminical pure family. It's good. Better training, better opportunity. That's a sign of that you've performed pious activities in the past, so you have a good opportunity. So all of us, somehow or other, miraculously have been blessed, whether due to our previous good activities or just that Agyata Sukriti, the special blessing of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Bhakti Vinod Thakur, Srila Bhakti Siddhanta, and the whole Guru Parampara, and especially Srila Prabhupada, because obviously within our time, our day, Srila Prabhupada exists, right? You massaged his feet and massaged his head, and you could see that he was absorbed in chanting also. Nobody's around to watch. He's chanting on his beads. He's reading his books. No one's there just to, oh yes, he's doing it to show others by his example. Yes, he set the perfect example. A Vaishnava, a devotee, sets the example for others to be inspired in Krishna consciousness. Despite whatever difficulties we're undergoing, the more we hear about Krishna's Leela, the more we try to understand the Bhagavatam, and it's said in the association of other devotees, it's enhanced. That everyone is eagerly trying to hear how Mother Yashoda was working so hard and out of love. Milk was pouring forth and she was all, sweaty and just somehow absorbed in this whole mood of pleasing Krishna or engaging in a loving relationship with Krishna. And there's great description. So Srila Prabhupada set the proper example that he underwent all kinds of trouble. It was not easy. Prabhupada, they said, could have been one of the wealthiest people in his chemical firm and astrologers and this and that. But Prabhupada showed from his birth in a pure devotee, his activities of worshiping the Lord, then apparently engaging in going to school and performing the family, having children, having business, but always thinking, meditating on Krishna. And then by the mercy, by the Guru Parampara, by Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati, changed the whole thing. In the dreams, you take sannyas and you broadcast this message of Krishna consciousness all over the world. So this is the one who's very dear to the Lord. He takes this preaching spirit, preaching in a positive way. It means like glorifying the Lord. That I'm very happy to be a servant, to become a friend, a parent. I want to love the Supreme Lord. And then by that very mood of serving Krishna according to the teachings of the Bhagavad, not that we're making up, rolling around on the floor and exhibiting ecstatic symptoms, and then after you're finished with the ecstatic symptoms, get the beaties out and go enjoy the monkey activities in Vrindavan. So Prabhupada, he came, established Krishna Balaram Mandir, established centers all over the world. He wanted devotees to appreciate the mood and love of the inhabitants of Vrindavan, that they, but you have to see very deeply, you have to see through the, Shastra, through the eyes of Shastra, not seeing the mundane activities from our material point of view that go on everywhere. And you need transcendental vision to appreciate the holy dham of Vrindavan. What does Narottam Das say? Vishaya Chadiya Kabe Shuddha Have Mana Kabe Hama Heravo Sri Vrindavan. And so in order to see or understand or appreciate this Leela, we have to give up the material desires, the material relationships. And it's not that, like I said, that there's a system, there's a process. It's called Shravanam, Kirtanam, Vishnu, Smaranam, Padasevanam, Archanam, Vandanam, Dasyam, Sakyam, Atmanavedanam. It starts with hearing. We're hearing the same every day, but it becomes more relishable. The more it actually moves us to be inspired that I want to hear more about Krishna. I want to glorify Krishna. I want to do something to please Krishna. It's not that Krishna consciousness is a place where people can just sit down just to meditate or in silence. That's nice. Silence is golden. Meditation is good. But the real business starts when one becomes a devotee, starts glorifying Krishna. This is real silence. This is real proper utilization of the tongue and the ear. Ambarish Maharaj is glorified for his ability to do his duties. As a king, you can imagine there's a lot of responsibilities, a lot of family problems. Maybe, there's a lot of issues. We have issues, right? In our temple, we have many issues. They always come up this way, that way. So Ambarish Maharaj was not only the emperor, the king, but he was so focused that his eyes were used to see the beauty of the Lord, his hands and his legs to carry him to the temple and making preparations. So he was fully engaged in this process of bhakti, devotional service. So whatever position we find ourselves in, increase the hearing and chanting, and this will actually awaken within us the desire to render more service. Srila Prabhupada was very happy to hear the book results. So every day we're reading for the pleasure of Shri Shri Gauranitai Krishna Balaram, Lalita Vishaka Radhasham, all the devotees, Srila Prabhupada, that this many books were distributed and this many people chanted the holy name of the Lord. This gives pleasure to Krishna. Because if someone is lost due to amnesia, left his family, is struggling and suffering, he's suffering, the parents are suffering, it's a very difficult situation. And if you find such a person, bring him back home and show him his godly life in his family with Krishna and Balaram. He becomes happy, Krishna's happy, you're also satisfied. And Krishna says, there's no one more dear to me than that person who is broadcasting the message of Krishna consciousness. There are many topics to be discussed in the world. Last few years we've been discussing pandemics and solutions and vaccinations, good, bad, and ugly, politics. You know, this is what goes on in this material world. It's always political. It's always manipulative. People want to control other people, whether it was man-made or sent by ultimately not a blade of grass moves without the sanction of the Lord. So all these troubles and difficulties and tribulations should be an impetus. How we can become more fixed in our Krishna consciousness. How we don't waste the valuable human life, which is not a long time in this world. You spend your youth in frolic and play, and your whole life working like a animal. I think the Beatles said it's been a hard day's night working like a dog. You know, everyone's working to maintain the family. I got to pay the bills. I got to provide food for my family. This is good. It's honorable. You have to do that. But your whole life is dedicated to working hard for sense gratification ultimately, for misidentification, identifying with the body, identifying with just the family, the nation. Let me fight for my nation. Sometimes you see that people end up from America's side, in Vietnam, and they say, what are we doing here? I don't know. You know, they're all getting killed, you know, or they're in some island in the Pacific Ocean, tens of thousands killing one another. This is nature's law, how everything in this world is created, it stays for some time, and ultimately destroyed by Krishna. So human life is very valuable. The human intelligence and the ability to inquire, to look at oneself as to, yes, I have many shortcomings, but I know for sure the spiritual master is giving me this special mantra for awakening, purifying our consciousness. We already have pure consciousness, but it's muddied. It's tainted by the desire to enjoy this world. So what is that special mantra? Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. You know, I try to sit in the kirtan and see Krishna Balaram. Sometimes the mind is racing. No, you have to go deal with this or deal with that. So sometimes we may not want to just, it's not, how you say, that taste for the holy name is not there. But still, routinely, just by sitting in front of the deities, by obeying the order of the spiritual master, and that sound vibration is actually chiseling at the stone-like heart, because our heart has been made stone-like due to prolonged existence in this world of trying to be dominator, controller. In the fourth canto, we're reading about how Lord Brahma, one of his very famous sons, Daksha, was a great progenitor. And so there's a big sacrifice in the arena, and all the demigods and all the very prominent persons of the universe are performing a yajna for the benefit of the whole world. And Daksha comes in like the sun god. He's glowing, he's brilliant. And everybody immediately rises to honor him. But Lord Shiva and Lord Brahma, Brahma being his father, and Lord Shiva was in meditation, although he was a son-in-law. Sati, his pet daughter, was married to Lord Shiva. So Daksha became infuriated. How is it that this... And then he started blaspheming and speaking very badly about Lord Shiva. And so this is how even great, great personalities, once you have a position or some so-called, I'm the emperor, but next lifetime you could be the beggar on the street, So we should not think that I've achieved my goal. I've come to the human form of life and I'm respected by so many for, my accomplishments. Our greatest accomplishment will be to become Krishna conscious and to help make others Krishna conscious. A Vaishnava devotee, he's always thinking himself unqualified for this work. Whenever Dharmatma sends me that message, class, such and such, then the anxiety begins to think, oh, what am I going to speak about? Everyone's heard the philosophy so many times, but still, it's our duty, our responsibility to try to inspire one another and work cooperatively. We have in our management a new thing called CC, cooperation, isn't it, in coordination? Yeah. That we're trying to coordinate everything together in a cooperative spirit. Srila Prabhupada wanted that. So when the difficulties come, we'll see it as a difficulty, but does it mean that we can't get beyond it? Because ultimately, there was fighting amongst sannyasis who were Radha Damodar traveling from temple to temple, and then devotees didn't want them coming because they took all their best brahmacharis, and then there was this issue and that issue. So our society has undergone many, many struggles and challenges. Every society, not only our society. We should not think that ISKCON is unique. It is unique, but every church, every religion, every organization has its challenges. But what I see is very positive and good is that despite the difficulties, devotees are still pushing on, and they're doing their activities for the pleasure of their spiritual master, and they're behaving in such a way that it will give pleasure to Krishna. And it's said a Vaishnava is recognized by his ability to convert others into the Vaishnava cult of Krishna consciousness. So our behavior, our service, and our activities should be focused in a way to bring pleasure to our spiritual master. And the more Krishna conscious we are, the more we attract others to Krishna consciousness. I know I used to work in Miami Airport for many years, and people would just sit and watch the devotees distributing books, and they were amazed. How is it, despite rejection, criticism, and sometimes violence, some people get violent who are very atheistic, devotees were always so strong and perseverant and enthusiastic the entire day to deliver the message of Krishna. So this is very pleasing to Krishna. Brother Yashoda's activities were very pleasing to Krishna. Sudama, friendship, was very pleasing to Krishna. So whatever little way we can serve to give pleasure to Krishna, or even just appreciating the stories, not only stories, the activities, this is Prabhupada's grace. He's allowing us to hear such intricate details of what kind of clothing she's wearing, what kind of ornaments, and the activity of churning and laboring and bangles, and the vibration of her body, and the whole intensity of her love for Krishna. And her breast milk is coming, her face is so beautiful. So these are visions which will help us to actually be attracted to continue on in Krishna consciousness, and hopefully someday we'll develop that distaste for material life and strong attraction for hearing the holy name of Krishna. Hare Krishna. Yeah, Srila Prabhupada. So whenever lost for words, talk about Sankirtan. Prabhupada enjoyed the Sankirtan mission of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Anyone have any questions, comments? Shankadari Prabhu.
Hare Krishna Prabhu, thank you very much.
Haribo.
Actually, it's, you went through a lot of sadhana bhakti. But now this sloga is particularly about raganuga, little natural love and affection. And how do we get into this, or what is the level, or should we continue the same sadhana bhakti, or how is it that we get into this next level?
I'm not sure if I heard the whole question. Did you hear it? What is it? Well, sadhana, this is the process that simply by doing your sadhana, it's like when automatically all the good qualities of the demigods manifest in the devotee's behavior. Just by this process of sadhana, by following this hearing, chanting, rules and regulations, you awaken your spiritual identity automatically. It comes by the grace of Krishna. It's not like just the guru says, "Oh, I empowered you. Now I have lost all my power. Now you've got the power." Yes, he will empower, but by following sadhana regularly, having that faith. I think faith is a very important ingredient. That we have faith that what we're hearing, this is the absolute truth. This is Krishna's words. Srila Prabhupada, he has great faith in Guru and Krishna. So the process, the flower opens and blossoms. It becomes a full-fledged flower with aroma and beauty naturally. By continuing if you're watering the plant, if it's getting its sunlight, then the flower opens and blossoms, and it matures. So if we're watering the root, meaning this, in really chanting the name with a prayer that somehow or other I've fallen into this ocean of birth and death, please pick me up and engage me as one of your servants, then naturally that spontaneous, that raganuga bhakti, the spontaneous love as Mother Yashoda has, will awaken naturally. Yes, Sarva Bhoma Prabhu.
Very nice. Thank you very much, Panchagoda Prabhu and Shankadari Prabhu. The question is sadhana bhakti, Prabhuji was discussing, and ragana bhakti is a topic. Basically, raganuga is also sadhana bhakti. Because sadhana bhakti is of two types, Vaidhi sadhana and raganuga sadhana. Only when we reach to the stage of nishtha, then only we can start practicing raganuga bhakti. But this is not raganuga bhakti, this is ragatmika bhakti. What Yashoda Maya, she is ragatmika bhakta. She is ragatmika, we have to follow her, that is raganuga. That today's verse is how to follow the work which Mother Yashoda is doing. Stand behind her and see how she is doing, then we will enter into the raganuga bhakti. So raganuga is also sadhana bhakti. So we are, the Vaidhi sadhana is to, and then after Vaidhi sadhana we have to transit into raganuga bhakti at the level of nishtha at least. When anartha nivritti is over at least, then we can enter into that.
Yes.
So both are sadhana bhakti, there's no problem, but this is ragatmika bhakti, not raganuga actually.
I know Sarva from 30 years ago when he was here in Vrindavan, and I could see by following and preaching that you've got that ruchi, that taste. So it works. The process of hearing and chanting, you get the taste.
Huh? Yeah, Ragatmika is a devotion of the eternal associate of Vrindavan which comes with Krishna. And Raganuga are the practicing who follow after Ragatmika. So Ragatmika is eternally liberated and Raganuga are practicing sadhana. So this is the whole first chapter of Raganuga is actually Ragatmika.
As they say, practice makes perfect.
Yeah, the
So keep
Prabhupada gave simple
practicing.
example. He said you start typewriting, first you see on the letters and after some time you just typewrite naturally. So your sadhana will enter into the Raganuga automatically.
Dharmama, let him give class next time, okay?
Hare Krishna. Thank you.
Thank you, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna.
One comment is that
No, I can't hear you.
one comment is that the greatness and the wonderfulness of Krishna consciousness is that unlike other religions or practices of yoga, you have to go through so many exercises and such as that. But in Krishna consciousness, the minute you join and the minute you engage in any type of devotional service through the spiritual master, our goal is already started. So the goal of Krishna consciousness is to render devotional service, and we render devotional service now through our sadhana. But as we continue to do it, as Prabhuji was saying, we don't change. We don't suddenly have a different rule book which we follow. We just continue to do the service in that manner. But the ruchi or the taste, it intensifies. So we're so lucky that in the very beginning we are doing the highest form of yoga, even on our first day when we come to Krishna consciousness.
Neha vikrama nashosti pratyavayana vidyate swapamopyasya dharmasya trayate mahato bayat. There's no loss or diminution in this path. Anything you do from the very beginning is always with you, right? No loss. You said you wanted to say something, March?
If I have not misunderstood, Shankhdari Prabhu questioned that how we can enter in the Raganuga or that type of level, a spontaneous attraction for Krishna. Sarvam Prabhu just gave very, I appreciate, knowledgeable based on Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu. It is really generous gift approach, but certainly it is not enough. Because right in the beginning, opening sentence of this verse, Prabhupada talks, if someone wants to enter in the realm of pure devotional service, Prabhupada herein described simply contemplating, meditating the beautiful feature of Mother Jashoda. So, like Sanghadhari Pardesh, just in the beginning, how we can enter in that realm, a spontaneous attraction for Krishna, not like Mother Jashoda, but similar mood how can get simply by contemplating, meditating on this, describe the feature of Mother Jashoda. And that is reason why Sukdev Goswami took trouble. Sukdev Goswami, it is like painting the beauty of Mother Jashoda. Every single word this describe the transcendental excellent beauty of Mother Yashoda, because she was the she is the mother of the most beautiful personality. So Krishna is beautiful, means his mother must be beautiful. So I suggest, if it is not like in Hindi, one time it was arranged that one verse was there, and for 7 days, one after another, they spoke on the one verse, Prahlad Maharaj. However, just, how say, I can't be so proud to say that one. I feel shy. So, but one word here, Kabar Bigalan, means flowers were falling from the hairs of Mother Yashoda. So now the relishing part, how come that flower decided to fall, take shelter of lotus feet of Srimati Radha? And many acharya he talks about. Flower, Mother Yashoda has decorated her head by these flowers, different types of flowers. One flower, there are many flowers, but one name is Malati, very fragrant, beautiful, looks very beautiful. So Mother has decorated her hair, and Mother Yashoda was engaged in that devotional service, churning butter, churning the yogurt for Krishna, for Seva. At that point, those flowers become very much embarrassed. My God, such a great devotee, Srimati Radharani. We don't deserve to sit on her head. It is better we should take shelter of her lotus feet. That reason why one after another those flowers falling, and they are taking shelter of Mother Yashoda lotus feet. But cover a bigalan, flowers were falling, falling from here, and where they are taking shelter of feet. So we should, no, I can't say should part, but this is. So it's like when Shankadhari Prabhu talked about how we can enter in them, the opening sentence, by contemplating, meditating on this form of Mother Yashoda.
And Maharaj has give a more elaborate description, that the description is given, every single word is so valuable and full of meaning that simply by contemplating the beauty of Mother Yashoda and the intricacies of her flowers and how it's falling and all her movements, that in itself will awaken our love for Krishna in a very spontaneous way. So we have every day we'll be hearing more and more nectar and more opportunity to contemplate. I think the time is finished here. I can speak to you after it. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. It was a nice comment.